Forgiveness begins where forbearance ends. Did you catch that? So there are some sins where forbearance covers and other sins that forgiveness covers. They're both mercies, but they have different functions. So a forbearance doesn't damage a relationship, but when we need to seek forgiveness and offer forgiveness, the relationship has been damaged in some way. And so there has to be restoration, there has to be forgiveness there. But with forbearance, it's more like letting things go. There's no relational damage. It's more of, I've picked up an offense and I'm just actually going to let that one go and I'm not going to be offended by it. So that's forbearance. Colossians 3:13 says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. So there are two functions, but they're a little different, right? And so the nature of forgiveness is it's transactional. So that means that there has to be two people involved. There must be a conversation, and the offender must ask, and the offended must grant forgiveness. And so you can't forgive somebody unless they ask, because it's transactional in nature. And the one asking for forgiveness really is an act of humility, isn't it? I know when I've truly been repentant and asked for forgiveness, that was an act of humility. It really takes a lot. But then on the other hand, the person that needs to offer the forgiveness, that's an act of mercy and compassion. And so remember that, like, apologizing. Have you ever done that apology like I've done 1,000 times? Hey babe, I'm so sorry. Like, I was so tired when I did that. When I said that to you, I just was not in my right mind and I just wasn't feeling good. And so please, I'm sorry. Like, will you forgive me? That is not true seeking an apology. That is defending self. So there's a word out there in the Christian community called apologetics, and that simply means defending your faith. And it's, apologizing is defending self. And so we want to take a look at that when we're seeking forgiveness from somebody that we've hurt. We really want to own that hurt and not make excuses for it, and just go to that person and beg for forgiveness, because we really do not deserve forgiveness. There's nothing in us that deserves forgiveness. We're sinners, and we are in desperate need of a Savior to help us change. But part of that is really seeking the Lord and seeking this person for forgiveness. And also, there's a promise attached with forgiveness. So when that relational act is done, when that transaction is done, then there is a promise that goes along with it that says, I forgive you. I'm not going to talk about this anymore, and I'm not even going to think about it anymore. And that's a promise. Isn't that beautiful? And it's also judicial. So that changes your standing, right? Like, once there's an apology done, or an actual seeking forgiveness, I'd like to say, now that I said that term about apologizing, that changes our standing. Once that person has forgiven us, then we're right with them. Everything's good. There's no guilt anymore. Side note, guilt is not a feeling. It's a standing, or it's a verdict. Isn't that interesting? The feeling that goes along with guilt is shame. So there's a lot of that terminology running around in this culture today that says, oh, I feel so guilty, but that's not accurate, right? So what's accurate is I feel shame, and I am guilty. That would probably be more appropriate. And also, forgiveness is performative. So when you say, I forgive you, that's an actual performance. It's kind of like when the minister pronounces a man and wife, and binds them legally. So it's performative in nature. I forgive you, and I promise to never bring it up again. So forgiveness is an act of mercy. If there's someone in my mind that is coming up that I despise or I hate or I have something against and there's something wrong, that's on me. I need to figure out what's going on with that. Like, why do I have such animosity towards this person? I need to seek the Lord and ask him, and then go to that person and have that conversation and have a relationship with that person and seek forgiveness or seek to forgive. And so remember, forgiveness is a debt that's owed, and we don't want to have any debt. We want to be clean and clear of any debt. And so I pray that this has been really eye-opening. It was certainly eye-opening to me. And I'm going to go into Matthew 18 in the next segment of forgiveness. So I hope to see you in the next video. God bless you.